Welcome back, friends, to the home of all things ballroom dance. Okay, today's hot ballroom tea. I'm going to share with you some challenges I have seen between professionals and their students regarding costumes and the students' costumes. And this video is in response to kind of a comment and a question I received, not in the comments, but they messaged me privately on my Facebook page. So I'm not going to share the person's name, but I have seen this affect many people. So I do want to talk about it today to hopefully protect you from this happening to you. And just friendly reminder, if you ever have a sensitive question or something you want me to talk about that you're like, oh, I'm afraid to say something publicly. What if it gets back to my teacher? Hey, shoot me a message on my personal Facebook page. It's just Sunny Page. And I'm happy to respond there. And I would never betray your confidentiality. You know, I would certainly answer it here because I guarantee if you have a question, it has struck someone else as a question too, and but I'll still share what I know as a long-term professional dancer with you guys. Okay, so I have personally seen many studios and teachers over the years have a vice-like grip on who their students are purchasing their costumes from. So often, actually pretty much every time I can ever think of, it has to do with purchasing costumes either from a family member or a crony of theirs. Likewise, prohibiting them from purchasing a costume from someone else. Or if they do purchase a costume from someone else that they find out was made by the friend of another pro who they hate, regardless of the costume design, they make disparaging and even insulting comments about that costume, which frankly aren't even true. You know, oh, you look horrible in that, you know, whatever. So here's the inside scoop. Number one, my own coaches never once pressured or even encouraged me to purchase a gown from the designers that she was sponsored by over the years. Okay. Number two, I've been sponsored. My sponsor never once encouraged me to schlep their costumes over anyone else's. They sold based on age. As the students see me in the costume, and naturally students are going to want to wear costume. You know, if they see their pro wear it, it looks good on them. And they get a chance to actually see it in person. Or likewise, they could use those pictures on their website and then they sell the gowns from there. Okay. So, that's that. Number two, often pros have family members who make costumes, okay? And so they're not only squeezing their students out of every penny they can in their lessons, they're like, well, I can get more money this way. And so they funnel the students to that family member to further financially support the family member. I find that family member, you know, never has a college education. You know, there's really not any other way they can support themselves other than making costumes. Okay. Number three. Speaking from my own experience, I had two designers who never sponsored me, but they approached me and said, "Hey, for every student you refer to me to make a costume, I will give you a financial kickback, a percentage of each sale." Okay. I own the largest ballroom dance studio in the country, so maybe I got more of these solicitations than other people, but you know, I suspect tip of the iceberg. I'm sure every pro who has a good sized clientele is having a similar experience with designers wanting to make money off them. Okay. In my case, I never once said yes. Here's why. first of all, I'm just not in the business of selling gowns. I'm a dance teacher. Number two, frankly, I found their costumes to be amateurish. They were not appropriate for what is kind of expected in the ballroom culture. For example, one looked kind of like ice skating outfits. There's just a unique look to dance sport costumes, and they were not hitting it. It's going to look like hour out there. And you know what? And if you're going to drop thousands of dollars on a costume, I for sure hope you look like thousands of dollars out there and not like you bought something off of Macy's and stuck some rhinestones on it. So number four, I have personally seen many times pros have a bone to pick with another teacher. And so if that costume designer is in any way associated with that other teacher, they talk trash about that designer. Or if they find out after the fact that that costume was made by, a friend of a friend, that of this pro that they dislike, they have all sorts of trash to talk about that costume. It doesn't look good on you, blah, 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 blah. Why would you buy from them? And okay, inside tip, guys, every time I have seen that, that dislike of that other pro is not based in personality. Straight up, it's jealousy based on the instruction. And they see that other pro as competition, which they should. If you have other good pros in your town, especially if they're more competent than you are, heck yeah, I understand why they're jealous or whatever, but I personally think it's real petty to insult, what could be a great, beautiful costume at a good price, to serve, their ego, basically, okay? So in my opinion, this is a big warning bell to me. If your studio or your pro is gently making a recommendation, or certainly if you go to them and ask for a recommendation, fabulous. I would hope they would do that. That's why part of what you're paying for their service. But if they are railroading you into buying from one person, honestly, warning bells going off in my head. At that point, I would question, okay, what is the identifiable degree of separation? Are they getting some sort of financial benefit for recommending helping me? Okay. What I might suggest is absolutely, ask your pros recommendations. First, they're general recommendations about style. If you want recommendations on who to get a costume from, you know what? They hopefully, if they just give one person, say, oh, do you know this person? Are you related to them? I would do a little exploration. They're probably, in my opinion, probably just not going to admit it if they are getting a financial kickback. I'm just sharing because these things happen because I was solicited for doing this, okay? Now, unless you're at a higher level of competition, like a really elite level, I've also previously suggested in videos, for Pete's sake, consider a used costume. When you buy a costume, it is like buying a car. The moment money exchanges hands and that car walks off the lot, as soon as you walk out the door with that costume, plummets in value. You are deluding yourself if you think you're gonna make any of that money back. Often people can't resell them at all, or if they can, it's at a fraction of the cost, which is fine. If you have deep pockets, sure, it is fun to get new costumes. Trust you me, I'm there. But in my opinion, if you're starting out in your dancing in your first, even 7 years or so, hey, I would just roll with used costumes. You can get beautiful stuff, great prices. And in my opinion, that money is better invested in coaching and really getting to that elite level where you need those costumes, Because if you're at a level of your dancing where, everyone on the floor, you're in silver and everyone out there just has different problems, the costume's not going to make a lot of difference. I'll tell you what is going to make a difference: dancing well, becoming a trained dancer. So proceed with caution. Now, I also recommend, hey, go to comps, look at the floor, see if there's costumes you like. First of all, if you're just liking something, hey, Who made that for you? How much did they pay? I can't imagine any competitor not being totally, transparent with you and, oh, I bought it from so-and-so and here's what I paid. Because they really don't have vested interest in schlepping and hard selling you on any one person, okay? Also, if there's a costume that you like, you know what? Give them your phone number. Hey, love your costume. If you're willing to sell it sometime, hey, give me a shout out. Because at that point, there's definitely a benefit. You've seen it. You know what it dances like on the floor. And you're going to get a much better price, okay? Also, if you are, looking for a tail suit, you know what? I'd recommend just, hey, it might be worthwhile to talk to a male who's bought a tail suit previously to get some recommendations. Certainly, as if you're purchasing a gown, I would encourage you to check with a female pro on that. I have seen some men, even championship level men, who honestly their finger is just not on the pulse in terms of the ladies' gowns trends, because there are trends. Just like there are when you were in high school, there's trends on the ballroom floor, and you want to be on fleek. If you're going to drop $4,000 on a costume, you don't want to wear like something that went out 2 years ago. Now, I am painting with a broad brush, as always. Certainly, there are male pros that can give you awesome, like, oh, this is in style, and this is what's most figure flattering for you. But in my experience, I got the best recommendations actually from the costume designer. And thank heavens she intervened when I went with her with this Grandmaster evil plan of what my first costume would look like, because I would have looked ridiculous out there. She was like, ooh, not so much good for your figure. Here's what you really should do. And then she sent me drawings to show the exact same, kind of, that's my figure. That's what this would look like on you. That's what that would look on you. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad she said something. Likewise, there was something I wanted that she was like, that would be totally culturally inappropriate. And knowing what I do now, oh my gosh, sage wisdom. You know what? She could have just taken my money and run, but she didn't. She actually was a very experienced costume designer, had many beautiful gowns on the floor. I'm so glad she gave me some guidance, especially initially. Certainly once you're kind of entrenched in that competitive world, you're going to be able to make more informed decisions for yourself. And you are very likely going to get to a point, if you enjoy it, designing your own costumes that are 100% in fashion and look best on you and look best for your dancing, which is the grand plan, right? We all want to look our best. Again, I am painting with a broad brush. There are, pros that are capable of recommending costumes that they have never personally not worn. But I would, in most cases, encourage you to go to the source and to actually go, look at what's out there, ask people what they're paying for it. I would take it as a big warning bell if you're being, ramrodded into buying from a certain person, okay? Because it just breaks my heart. I have seen some students taken advantage of and pay steakhouse prices for fast food product. And I don't want that to be you, okay? So anyway, guys, I hope that was interesting. If you've ever felt pressured by a pro to have to buy something or pay top dollar for something that wasn't the actual dance lesson, hey, you know what? You might share that comment here or shoot me a message in private, because you wouldn't be the only person this has ever happened to. And of course, if you have a special person that you would recommend, hey, you know what? I don't delete comments. Put a link in my comments here. And, hopefully many of us can take a peek and see what that person has to offer. So, guys, thanks for joining me today. Please comment with additional questions because it's so easy for me. It saves me a lot of time to post future videos if I have an idea of what you might be interested in, hearing what goes on behind the scenes about that. And if you found today's topic to be interesting or helpful, hey, throw me a bone. Press that like button because I get so excited, guys, each time I see a little thumbs up. Love to see more of those. So, guys, have a wonderful day. Happy dancing tonight. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.